All right, man, peace. So James Franco was one of the initial actors who was targeted for termination by the hashtag #MeToo, hashtag Time's Up movement, which the new neoliberal fascist feminist social engineering program that has been executed by Hollywood to try to change over the deity veneration in that region from Bacchus to Diana. Of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in. Please pay very close attention to what the females who are accusing James Franco of being abusive towards them, please pay very close attention to their claims.
Three of James Franco's accusers say are speaking out about their allegations of misconduct against the actor. The women sat down with Inside Edition. Tatiana Liepel, Franco's former assistant, accuses him of using abusive language toward her.
Now, this is what this whole hashtag #MeToo, hashtag Time's Up movement has descended to. Now, a female can get an interview for being the recipient of quote-unquote abusive language. Now, if you guys remember, you have an actress in Hollywood named Anne Hathaway. She came into prominence by playing an intern and basically an assistant in a film called The Devil Wears Prada. She starred as an intern or as an assistant who basically had to run errands for a major fashion magazine editor played by Meryl Streep. Her character was based on a very famous fashion magazine editor named Anna Wintour. And the entire film was predicated off of how much verbal abuse and mental abuse everyone at the office had to endure from Meryl Streep's character. When you work in the entertainment industry or you work in any high pressurized environment, you have to be able to deal with people who are high strung. Why is that? Because they're normally very focused. The hashtag #MeToo movement, the hashtag Time's Up movement, is allegedly supposed to be about women no longer wanting to deal with being sexually harassed and sexually assaulted. Why are they interviewing a female who states that all that happened to her was that she was quote unquote verbally accosted by her boss, James Franco? She had the ability to leave her job at any moment. She did not do that. Why? Because she was hoping to make her way in Hollywood. Probably is trying to make her way up as some type of PR rep or casting agent. That's normally where a lot of these females who start off as assistants to actors are trying to go. It just goes to show you how disingenuous this whole so-called movement is, because she should not even be on camera unless she's talking about how James Cameron held her down and tried to put his dick inside of her.
Sarah Tither Kaplan, his former student, alleges Franco pushed her to film an orgy scene in his movie.
So now they have an actress on that they're going to interview who states that the extent of the abuse that she received from James Franco is that he tried to get her to participate in a scene in a film when she's trying to play an actress. All she had to do was say no and leave the class. That's all she had to do. Look, brother, it's very simple. As a so-called black man, you already know that if you decide to be a member of or a participant in the entertainment industry, at some point in time, they're going to ask you to do something faggoty. Whether it's kiss a man or wear a dress or put on lipstick, or even as far as Will Smith having sex with a man on camera like he did in 6 Degrees of Separation. Denzel put on lipstick in Ricochet. As we all know, Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence have all cross-dressed. Kevin Hart. That's part of the Hollywood industry. A female actress at some point is going to be asked to participate in a sex scene, even an orgy, a rape scene. If that's too traumatic for you, that means that the industry is not for you. It doesn't mean that the director is wrong. Once again, do you see how they're trying to obfuscate the difference between sexual assault and male leadership? They're really angry about a man being able to tell a woman what to do in Hollywood. That's why I led this video with the example of the film A Devil Wears Prada. Because just like there are female assistants in Hollywood who are assistants to male actors, and they're the victims of verbal abuse or verbal accosting, there are also female assistants who are assistants to female bigwigs who are receiving the same verbal accosting, but they can't get camera time for that because it's female on female. So just once again to point out to you, brothers, the hashtag Me Too and the hashtag Time's Up movement is about social engineering. It has nothing to do with justice for women.
And Violet Paley says Franco pressured her to perform a sex act in her car.
So he pressured you to perform a sex act in your car. I'm trying to figure out how that works. Maybe Nora O'Donnell reported it wrong. Were you driving the car, or was he? How did that happen? Did he expect you to drive while giving him a blowjob? You must be the best driver on the planet Earth. Something is rotten in Denmark, or maybe, like I said, Nora O'Donnell's reporting it wrong and she was in his car. Either way, you have the right to say no and get out the vehicle.
I was so upset at his hypocrisy. I wanted the world to know the truth.
Looking back, do you feel like you couldn't say no?
No, I could have said no, but...
So then that means that you need to get off get off that chair, leave the room, no longer be on camera, because you're full of shit. If you could have said no and you didn't say no, that means that you must have wanted to have his dick in your mouth. That's pretty much how that goes.
Because of the power dynamic, this situation was so surreal, and...
So you felt like you had to say yes because of the quote-unquote power dynamic. So in other words, you're jealous of him. That's the new excuse that many of these degenerate, bugged-out liberal females are using for why they decided to give up their ass or their vagina or their mouth to a man in Hollywood, the power dynamic. Brothers, I know that you guys all work in corporate offices, or many of you work in corporate offices, and many of you may have a female supervisor or female manager or director. Is there a point in your day where you feel like because of a quote-unquote power dynamic, you have to suck on her titties? I mean, you tell me. Is there a point where that happens where you can say, I had to suck on her titties because she's my supervisor. If I didn't, I wouldn't get any overtime. And this shit is only making women look worse and worse. But most women, the vast majority of them, do not have any form of self-awareness, particularly the liberal woman. This is why when many women actually do get sexually assaulted or raped and they go to these police precincts to report it, they're met with a side eye. Because these police precincts are receiving so many fake reports from women about being raped or assaulted that they don't believe them. And then CBS gives camera time to these three idiotic trolls, and it only makes the actual plight of the woman look worse. Like I stated about Michael Bennett when he cried wolf on being the victim of a racial assault from the cops. What you do is you take away legitimacy from the actual black men that are the victims of police brutality because of racism. That's all you're doing. And this is why Condoleezza Rice made the statement that she made about not treating women like snowflakes, and that she was worried that it was going to make men say, we just don't want to have these women around. It's already too late for that. It's too late for that. The average man who is aware no longer wants to be around women unless there's an actual real reason or purpose for it. These females, they don't understand, because they're not three-dimensional thinkers, that they're only going to make their lives harder in the long run. They're going to get a lot of immediate gratification through camera time and attention, which is the number one drug of the modern day liberal woman, the woman period, but particularly the modern day liberal woman. But in the long run, they're going to find that a lot of job opportunities that were once present and open for the woman in Hollywood are going to diminish. Because what's going to basically happen is that Hollywood is going to go through a period where they're going to try to force females in authoritative positions on the masses in regards to their films. You're going to see a lot more films with action heroes as women and leaders as women. And they're going to see the revenue drop precipitously in Hollywood. And they're going to respond back by trying to return to more male-oriented films. The women are going to get upset. And then they're going to be given basically a financial report that shows how little revenue their films are generating. And they're going to be forced to face reality. And it's going to make them even more marginalized than they were before. But they don't understand that right now because they're simpletons. The liberal the liberal female members of Hollywood are. And they're witches anyway. They're trying to cast a major spell on the masses through this socially engineered event in Hollywood.
And I wanted him to like me.
He's definitely got two personalities. And that doesn't mean he doesn't have a great sweet side, but when he has his other side, it's the complete polar opposite.
I wonder how many of your 25 ex-boyfriends will say the same thing about you. Let's get to the point. Did he ever put his hands on any of your private areas, your breasts, your genitalia? Did he tell you that if you don't give up the pussy, I'm going to fire you? That's what this issue is really about. Not that he got mad at you because you didn't get enough sugar in his coffee. You didn't put enough sugar in his coffee. Or you didn't make sure that his gas tank was filled. That's what this issue is really about. At least that's what it is allegedly supposed to be about.
The impression he gave me of the industry deterred me from pursuing a dream I thought I always wanted.
So in other words, you should have thanked him if he told you the truth. If he told you that you're going to have to suck dick to get roles, then you should have said thank you. I'm going to go into an industry that will vibe more with my personality because I'm a dignified woman. Let's be for real. The real reason why you're mad at James Franco, you don't want to say it on camera, is that you were not just his assistant. You were his side bitch. You were giving up the ass. You thought that it would get you roles in Hollywood. It didn't. You're a failed actress. Next.
I don't even know what I'm allowed to say. That's the scary thing. Is like I'm terrified for my career.
What career? I have not seen you in nan movie. What career are you talking about, bitch? How could you be scared of what to say? If you're speaking the truth, you shouldn't be scared of what to say. You don't have to worry about your career. Your career is null and void. You're not good looking enough to play the lead, and you most likely don't have enough personality, nor are you funny enough to be put in a film that is comedic. So it's a wrap for you. Next.
A representative for Franco told Inside Edition the actor stands by what he told The Late Show's Stephen Colbert. Franco said the allegations he heard are not accurate, but if he did something wrong, he'll, quote, fix it.
From what I saw there, you didn't do anything wrong, Mr. James Franco. The only thing that you did wrong is that you had a female assistant. Hire male assistants from now on, and also make sure that you're on your P's and Q's whenever you deal with females in private, unless you just, utilize a high-level escort service, which is what I continually tell and would tell many of these high-profile actors or notables or celebrities. Don't deal with any of these regular females. I would not if I were you, because it's just not worth it. Many of these males in Hollywood understand that for the most part, the woman is trying to use them to get to a certain place, and it's okay with them as long as you're ready to put out. They're not going to put on any falsities or airs as if I'm your boyfriend or let's take a vacation together. No, you want a role in my movie. I want some pussy. It's a trade-off. What many of these low-level wannabe actresses are trying to do is they're trying to change the rules of engagement. They want to be able to get into these films without having to put out, when most of them don't have any talent. And to be quite frank with you, to be an actor or an actress only means that you're a professional liar. They want to be glorified for being professional liars. It's a shady and a seedy business, and if you're not built for it, then you should not get involved. That's what that basically amounts to.
A 48 hours report helped lead to the arrest of a Brazilian.
But anyway, we'll see what happens with Mr. James Franco. Peace.